Ladies and gentlemen, I want to speak today about something that many of us experience, yet few of us understand fully: the desire for someone, and how to know if it is a desire planted in your heart by God or just the desires of your own flesh. We all know the power of love, of connection, and of relationships, but let me tell you, not every desire comes from God. Sometimes we confuse our own wants and emotions with God's direction. But when it's from God, you will feel it in a way that is unmistakable. The first sign that your desire for someone is from God, and not just your own fleshly desires, is the peace that accompanies it. I'm not talking about a fleeting moment of contentment, but a deep, unshakable peace within your spirit. It's the kind of peace that doesn't change with the wind, it's constant. You will find that when the desire is of God, it feels right, even when circumstances may not seem perfect. There's a knowing, a settled assurance that transcends logic. Even when your emotions may be at war, there's a deep-rooted peace that says, this is where I am supposed to be. It's a peace that doesn't stir up confusion, but calms it. The second sign is that your desire is to uplift, not to consume. When God places a person on your heart, it's not about what you can take from them, but what you can give. It's not about fulfilling your own selfish needs, but about helping them grow, encouraging them, and contributing to their purpose. True love, true desire always seeks to elevate the other person, to support them in their journey. If your thoughts and desires are constantly about what you can gain or take, it's not of God. But if it's about giving, about building them up, about walking beside them in their purpose, then you can be sure that God's hand is in it. The third sign is the presence of unshakable trust. When God places a desire in your heart, you will feel an unwavering trust in His timing and plan. You won't feel frantic or driven by anxiety. There will be no fear of loss, no fear of the future, because you are trusting God to work everything out according to His perfect will. You will not be consumed by worry or doubt. Instead, you will trust that whatever happens, it is exactly what should happen. The desire for someone from God comes with peace, but also with an overwhelming trust in His timing and process. Next, we have the sign that the desire does not compromise your identity or purpose. I want to be clear about this. When a desire for someone comes from God, it will never ask you to compromise who you are or deviate from your purpose. It complements your life, strengthens your journey, and propels you toward your calling. If your desire for someone causes you to forget who you are or drift away from your purpose, it's a sign that the desire is coming from a different place. God will never ask you to sacrifice your values, your identity, or your calling to be with someone. True desire from God only serves to elevate you and fulfill your purpose. Lastly, a desire that is truly from God will always be confirmed spiritually. This confirmation can come in many forms: through prayer, wise counsel, scripture, or even moments of reflection. God does not lead us into confusion, and when He plants a desire in your heart, He will also give you confirmation. You will find clarity in the decision, and the more you seek God, the more that desire will align with His plan for your life. It's not a fleeting feeling or a moment of emotional whim. It's a consistent, confirmed direction in your spirit. So, ladies and gentlemen, the next time you feel a desire stirring in your heart for someone, check the signs. Ask yourself, is there peace? Is this desire to uplift, to give, and not to take? Do I trust God in this? Does this desire align with my purpose? And most importantly, is this desire confirmed in my spirit? If you find these signs present, you can have confidence that this is God's will for your life. If not, then take a step back and let God guide you to where you truly belong. Because the desires of God lead to the fulfillment of your true calling, not just a temporary satisfaction. When God places a desire in your heart, the first thing you will notice is a deep and peaceful assurance in your spirit. It is not the kind of peace that comes from circumstances aligning or everything being perfect around you. It is a peace that rises from within. A peace that stands in contrast to the chaos of life. This is a peace that passes understanding, as the scriptures describe it. It's a peace that anchors your soul even when the storm rages outside. Think about it. How often do we chase after things, people, or desires only to be left feeling restless, unsure, and uneasy? That's because many times we operate on our own impulses and desires, thinking that fulfillment will come through our own strength or understanding. But when the desire is from God, there is a peace that cannot be shaken by what we see or what we feel in the moment. It's a reassurance that you are on the right path, even when that path doesn't make sense to those around you. This peace doesn't mean that everything will be smooth sailing, nor does it mean there won't be challenges. But it does mean that you will feel grounded, secure in the knowledge that this desire aligns with a higher purpose. You won't be tossed by the waves of uncertainty or overwhelmed by fear. Instead, you will walk with a calm assurance that God is in control, that His timing is perfect, and that everything will unfold according to His plan. It is this internal peace that allows you to stand firm, even in moments of doubt or opposition. Peace in your spirit is a divine confirmation. It tells you that you are aligned with something greater than yourself. It is the affirmation that God's will for your life is unfolding in the most perfect way. This peace doesn't come from external validation, but from the inner knowing that you are following a divine calling. It is a peace that gives you strength when the world around you says no. And it is this peace that enables you to say yes to what God is doing in your life. When you have this peace, you'll find yourself less worried about the outcome and more focused on the journey. You'll be able to take the steps necessary without fear of failure, because deep inside, you know that the desire is aligned with God's will for you. This peace will carry you through moments of struggle, and it will be the quiet voice that reminds you that you are never alone. God is with you, guiding you every step of the way. Peace in your spirit is not just a sign that you're on the right track. It is God's assurance that He is with you, working behind the scenes, making all things work together for your good. When the desire you feel for someone is from God, it will always be about uplifting, not consuming. It will be about nurturing and building up, not taking, not draining, and certainly not controlling. God's love is unconditional, and when He plants a desire in your heart, it is always rooted in the idea of helping that person rise to their highest potential. It's not about filling your own void through them, but about pouring into their life in a way that makes them better. It's about helping them see who they are in God's eyes, encouraging them to pursue their dreams, and standing beside them as they reach new heights. God never leads you to someone in order to make you feel powerful by comparison or to take from their strength. When you're operating in God's will, your desire is to share your strengths, your wisdom, your love, and your support. You want to see the other person shine. You want them to succeed, to grow, to become the very best version of themselves. You aren't focused on what they can do for you, but what you can do for them, how you can help them find their path, how you can stand beside them in their struggles and cheer them on in their victories. The desire to uplift doesn't take away from who you are, it enhances both of you. It strengthens the bond, allowing both people to grow, not out of selfish gain, but out of mutual respect and love. When God places a desire for someone in your heart, it's not rooted in your own insecurities or in a desire to fill a gap in your life. It's not about meeting your needs at the expense of theirs. It's about walking alongside that person, making their burdens lighter and sharing in their joy. God will never lead you to someone with the intent of diminishing them or making them feel like they owe you. Instead, he leads you to people who you can serve, who you can elevate, and who can see the potential within themselves because you see it in them first. If your desire for someone feels like a weight or a burden, or if you begin to feel entitled to their time, their affection, or their validation, that is a sign that your desire is coming from a place of need rather than of love. But when it's from God, the desire is like it's a partnership, a team, a bond that exists to bring out the best in each other. There is no ownership, no control. Just a genuine longing to help that person rise and reach their full potential in Christ. This desire to uplift is also seen in how you speak to and about the person. If your words are encouraging, if your presence makes them feel stronger, more confident, and more aligned with their purpose, then you know it is God at work. But if your words tear down, manipulate, or make them feel smaller, then that is not the work of God. God's desire for your relationships is to strengthen them, to make them grow, and to bring out the best in both people involved. You see, when your desire for someone is truly from God, it will never take, only give. It will never drain, only uplift. It will never control, only empower. That's how you know that this desire isn't just something you've conjured up in your own mind. It's God's plan unfolding before you, helping you both grow into the people you were always meant to be. And when that happens, it's beautiful, it's powerful, and it's in perfect alignment with God's will for your life. When your desire for someone is truly from God, one of the most profound signs is the presence of unshakable trust. Now, trust is a word we hear often, but it's more than just a passing feeling or a momentary thought. Trust, especially when it's rooted in the divine, is the foundation of every step you take in this journey. It is not dependent on the circumstances around you. It does not waver with the changing winds of life. Trust, when it is from God, is a constant presence that grounds you in every season, no matter what comes your way. When you experience this unshakable trust, you will know deep within your heart that God's plan is always unfolding in its perfect time. You will not rush, you will not panic, and you will not be consumed by fear or doubt. Too many of us spend our lives trapped in the chaos of what ifs, constantly questioning the path, second guessing every decision, and wondering if we're missing something. But when God is in the midst of your desire, there is no room for that. You stop questioning the path because you know that the road is already paved, even if you can't see all of it yet. You don't need to see the entire picture to trust that God has already taken care of it. This trust is not born from a place of passivity. No, it's an active, unwavering belief that God is in control. You don't worry about tomorrow because you know that it will take care of itself. You stand firm in today, secure in the knowledge that the future is not something to fear, but something to embrace. You are not looking for signs, trying to manipulate the situation, or rushing God's timing. Trust this peace. It's confidence that the person you desire, the relationship you long for, is already in God's hands. It is an understanding that whatever is meant to be will be. And no amount of worry or fear can change that. Trust also teaches you patience. This is something most of us struggle with in today's world, where we want everything instantaneously. We want results, we want answers, and we want them now. But trusting God's timing is different. It teaches you that what is meant for you will never pass you by, and no matter what it looks like today, tomorrow holds something better. When God is involved, timing becomes a divine factor. You learn to be at peace, knowing that what is meant for you cannot be withheld. And in the meantime, you focus on becoming the best version of yourself, knowing that your trust will not be in vain. Trust is also liberating. When you trust, you are free from the anxiety of trying to control outcomes, trying to manipulate situations, or trying to figure everything out ahead of time. You are free to enjoy the journey without the burden of constantly trying to control the results. You allow yourself to be open to the possibilities that God has in store for you, knowing that you are right where you are supposed to be. It frees you from the noise of life, the pressure of living up to expectations, and the weight of doubt that often clouds your mind. You see, trust isn't just about believing God will show up when you need Him. It's about trusting in His character, trusting that His love for you is so deep and so consistent that it will never fail you. It's trusting that even in the moments of waiting, He is working, even when you can't see it. And in that trust, you find peace, confidence, and security in knowing that God has everything under control. You rest in the assurance that His timing is always perfect, His plan is always best, and His love for you is unshakable. So if you want to know whether your desire is from God, ask yourself, do you trust Him? Do you trust that He knows what's best for you, even when you don't understand it? Do you have the peace that only comes from the deep, abiding trust in His plan? Because when that trust is present, you will walk in confidence. You will walk in peace. And you will walk in the assurance that what God has for you, no one and nothing can take away. When God places a desire in your heart, one of the most undeniable signs that it's from Him is that it will never require you to compromise who you are or the purpose He has called you to fulfill. I want you to understand something deeply important today. Your identity and your purpose are sacred, and they are intertwined with your very existence. The desires that come from God always align with who He created you to be. They don't force you to step away from your values, beliefs, or vision. Instead, they encourage you to grow into the fullness of that vision, helping you fulfill your calling with greater clarity and confidence. This desire, when it's from God, will not pull you away from your passion or your life's mission. It won't steer you down paths of confusion or doubt, but will keep you aligned with the core of who you are. The true desires God plants in your heart will not pull you into situations where you are forced to lose yourself. They will never require you to diminish your sense of self-worth or betray your values. Instead, they will encourage you to become more of who you are meant to be, to walk in alignment with your deepest purpose and calling. They will complement your journey, not derail it. Think about it this way: God's desires for your life will always push you toward growth. They will challenge you, stretch you, but they will never ask you to compromise your integrity or your core beliefs. There's a difference between being challenged to grow and being pushed to conform into something you are not. When the desire is from God, it challenges you to become a better version of yourself, the version that aligns with the divine purpose He has set for you. It aligns with your values, your character, and your deeper calling. God will never lead you to a place where you have to forsake your identity or purpose for temporary satisfaction. No, the desire He places in your heart will be something that empowers you to walk further in your calling. If you find yourself in a situation where a desire for someone or something is pulling you away from your true identity or making you feel like you must change who you are, you need to pause and assess whether that desire is truly from God. True desires from Him don't diminish your purpose, they magnify it. They will align with your life's work, not distract you from it. When God leads you into a relationship, a career, or a calling, He does so in a way that enhances your identity, not in a way that forces you to abandon it. It will require no sacrifice of your true self, but rather it will encourage you to become the fullest version of the person He has called you to be. There are times when the world, or even people close to you, may try to make you feel that you need to compromise your purpose to fit into molds that don't align with your calling. But when the desire is truly from God, it will set you free to be exactly who you are meant to be. It will empower you to say no to distractions, to stay true to the essence of who you are, and to keep your eyes on the purpose that has been divinely given to you. This kind of desire also brings freedom. It brings freedom to pursue what's right for you, to walk the path that God has laid out, and to step boldly into your future without fear or uncertainty. It helps you to reject the lies that say you must compromise to achieve success or fulfillment. Instead, you realize that by staying true to your purpose, staying grounded in who you are, and staying aligned with the desires God has placed within you, you are positioning yourself to step into the greatest potential that exists for your life. The beauty of this desire is that it will never drag you down paths of regret or remorse, because it is always rooted in the divine plan for your life. If it pulls you away from your true purpose, it's not from God. If it causes you to lose sight of who you are, it's not from God. But when it strengthens your sense of identity, aligns with your purpose, and calls you to greater heights of integrity and greatness, you can be sure that it is a desire planted in you by the Creator Himself. And when you walk in alignment with that, there is no greater peace, no greater fulfillment, and no greater joy. I want you to remember that the desires God places within your heart are never designed to compromise your identity or derail your purpose. They are meant to empower you, to strengthen you, and to lead you closer to the fullness of who you are created to be. When the desire is truly from God, it will align with your values, amplify your purpose, and push you to grow in ways that reflect His calling for your life. It won't demand you to become someone you're not or step away from the life He has intended for you. So as you move forward, pay attention to the desires that arise within you. If they push you to become a better version of yourself, to walk more closely in your purpose, and to honor your core beliefs, then you can trust that these desires are from God. They will guide you, they will challenge you, and they will help you grow without ever asking you to compromise who you are. Remember, God's desires for you are always aligned with your true identity, and when you follow them, you'll find yourself walking in the fullness of His plan for your life.